In the frozen winds of the Freljord, legends rise and fall like the endless snow. Today, lore lovers, we turn our gaze to Anivia, the Cryophoenix, eternal guardian of winter and timeless spirit of rebirth. I am Liandrug, and together we will uncover the tales that shape her myth and her place in Runeterra's story. In the frozen heart of the Freljord dwells Anivia, a spirit woven from winter's coldest breath, a mystical Cryophoenix born of ice and storm. She carries within her the fury and grace of the land itself, summoning snow and bitter winds to shield her homeland from any who dare to threaten it. Both benevolent and enigmatic, she is bound forever to her vigil, watching over the icy realm through the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. Anivia is the frost-made flesh, as eternal as the tundra she guards. Long before mortals ever walked upon the frozen plains, she had already lived and died countless times. Each death marked the end of an age, and each rebirth gave rise to another. Her presence has forever signaled change, from the quieting of storms to the shifting of ice across centuries. It is whispered that with her final cry an era falls, and with her return a new one dawns. Though the memories of her countless lives have faded into the mist of ages, Anivia has never forgotten her purpose, to guard the Freljord no matter the sacrifice. In her most recent rebirth, she rose to witness the birth of a mighty tribe, united beneath one banner. She shielded their lands and watched them with pride as they thrived, yet unity proved fragile. The tribe splintered into three, and from that fracture sprang endless conflict. As the people turned against one another, Anivia sought to soothe the chaos, but a deeper dread stirred beneath the eyes. Ancient and malignant, a darkness seeped into the frozen land, staining its pure magic as ink clouds clear water. The corruption spread through the Freljord, and Anivia felt it gnaw at her own essence. She could no longer remain a silent sentinel. Her role as guardian has become one of action. In her search for hope, Anivia found kinship in Ashe, the frost archer, whose dream of uniting the Freljord mirrored her own. Together they stood against the endless strife. Yet Anivia knows well the weight of destiny. The day will come when the darkness rises from the ice once more, and when it does, she must face it, whatever the cost. Anivia is counted among the ancient demi-gods, a timeless being who embodies the unbroken cycle of life, death, and rebirth, as well as the endless turning of the seasons. From the very shaping of Runeterra, she and her siblings emerged, sculpting the land of Freljord into form. It is said that with her first breath, winter itself came into being, and some whisper she was the one who birthed the mysterious true ice into the world. When mortals first set foot upon the frozen expanse of Freljord, Anivia did not turn them away. She saw their frailty beneath the merciless cold and guided them into hidden valleys where they might endure, building tribes that grew strong against the elements. In her care, the people came to venerate her and her siblings as gods, weaving their names into legend. Yet even under her watchful wing, discord grew. Feuds divided the tribes, leaving them vulnerable to the greed of a southern king who sought to claim the wild magic of the land. His armies marched across the mountains, but Anivia's wrath met them in the skies. She called forth a blizzard so fierce it raged for 100 years, and in its fury the invaders were erased from history. In the age when mortals began to seek dominion over Freljord, three sisters rose above all others: Lissandra, Avarosa, and Serilda. Driven by ambition, they scoured the world for ancient powers to bind to their will. Lissandra, the eldest, sought to master the wild magic coursing through the land itself. Their defiance stirred the wrath of Anivia's brothers, Valhir and Eildhorg, who wished to end the sisters' schemes before they could rise further. Yet Anivia and several of her kin chose a different path, seeking balance through alliance rather than open war. But Lissandra's hunger for power led her to forge a pact with masters from beyond the world. With this bond, the sisters birthed the Iceborn, warriors who carried the chill of the land within them, their bodies impervious to the Freljord's merciless cold, their hands able to shape and wield through ice. Through conquest and worship, the sisters' power spread, and slowly the names of the old demigods faded. Tribes that once revered Anivia and her siblings turned instead to the three sisters as divine rulers. Yet Anivia could never be erased, for death itself cannot claim her. Time and again she has fallen, only to rise in radiant rebirth. Sometimes centuries, even millennia, pass before she stirs again, but her return always heralds transformation. Each appearance is both a blessing and an omen, marking the dawn of an age, whether it brings prosperity or ruin. One tale speaks of her sacrifice against the towering Bale Striders, ancient colossi twisted by Lissandra's corruption. Knowing she could not destroy them outright, Anivia cast herself into the ice beneath their march, shattering her body to bring the land itself down upon them. Buried in frost and snow, both she and the beasts were entombed, her essence awaiting the cycle's next rebirth. Lore lovers, if you are enjoying this journey through the frozen myth, don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and it gives me the chance to bring you even more stories from the vast worlds of lore. Through the ages, Anivia has soared above countless mortal civilizations, her presence woven deeply into the myths and traditions of the Freljord. Revered by tribes across the land, she is a living legend, her name carried in stories passed from one generation to the next. One of the oldest tales speaks of her brother Ornn. He once felled one of her favored perches to build his great hall, the Horn Hall. In playful mischief, Anivia brushed her feathers against his nose as he slept, making him sneeze forth a blast of flame. The spark caught his bedding, and in her panic to escape, Anivia's winged beats fanned the flames higher until the hall was consumed entirely by fire. Ornn awoke in the ashes, scowling at his disturbed rest, never knowing the prank was his sister's doing. Among the Notai who wander the frost plains, Anivia is honored above all. They follow the shimmering trails of ice set to fall from her vast wings, and their songs tell of her birth from a colossal egg of ice, its shards scattering into the heavens to become snow. The Morn Crow tell their own sagas, claiming that every blizzard that sweeps across the tundra still echoes the first beat of her wings when she entered the world. The Avarosan keep the tale of Ula Shatterspear, an iceborn war mother blessed by Anivia herself after saving a hawk from a Ryanfang wolf. Throughout Ula's long life, Anivia shielded her from harm until the warrior finally fell after a century of winters. In death, Ula was welcomed by the Cryophoenix, her soul embraced beneath vast wings of frost. Now, Anivia has risen once more from her egg, her rebirth heralding change for the Freljord. She has revealed herself to Ashe, the young war mother who carries her mother, Grena's dream of finding the throne of Avarosa. To Anivia, Ashe shines with the promise of unity for the fractured tribe. With her return, shamans and spirit walkers across the land feel the stirring of a new era, though few can yet name the shadow threat that may have drawn her back into the world. Now we turn to the bonds and encounters that tie Anivia to others, for even the eternal Cryophoenix does not stand alone in the Freljord. Her relationships with siblings, mortals, and tribes shape many of the stories told across the frozen land. Ornn, eldest of the demi-gods, is the master of forge and fire. He keeps to himself and shows little warmth toward kin, yet he holds no enmity for Anivia. A legend tells how, after Ornn cut down one of her favorite perches to build his hall, she sought a mischievous revenge. As he slept, she brushed his nose with her feathers, making him sneeze flame that consumed his hall. Ornn awoke in a foul mood, never realizing the prank was hers. Valhir, the Stormbringer, is known to mortals as Volibear, the god of thunder and war. He once called his siblings to arms, demanding battle against the rising threat of Lissandra. Anivia, however, opposed his cry for blood, urging instead a path of cooperation with mortals. Though his nature is violent, Volibear honors Anivia as a goddess, respecting her even in disagreement. When Lissandra rose with her sisters to command the Iceborne, Anivia sought peace rather than war. Though little is told of direct meetings between them, Anivia felt the witch's power as she marched with her armies, erasing the old gods from mortal worship and drowning their followers in her crusade. Anivia's presence touched Ashe at the throne of Avarosa, where the young war mother claimed her true eyes bow. Word spreads that the Cryophoenix now favors Ashe, seeing within her the hope of reuniting the shattered tribes of the Freljord. The nomadic Notai have sung of Anivia for countless generations. They follow the trails of snow that seem to fall from her wings, weaving songs of her birth, her death, and her radiant rebirth into their traditions. Born among the Notai, young Nunu grew up with his mother Laika's stories of Anivia, though he has never seen the Cryophoenix himself. Her songs shaped his dreams, filling him with the legends of the ancient guardian. Among mortals, none is more attuned to Anivia's spirit than Udyr, the greatest of the Freljord spirit walkers. Through his communion with the demi-gods, he channels her power, entering the storm stance, where her frost and wind surge through him, echoing the Cryophoenix's magic upon the battlefield. And so the Cryophoenix spreads her wings once more, heralding change across the Freljord. If you've enjoyed this tale, remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep these stories alive. Join our Discord, where lore lovers like you gather to discuss, imagine, and breathe life into these worlds together. Until next time, this is Liandrug, and may the stories never fade.